Assalamualaikum. So time has come that you have to pack your bag and fly to Canada. There's been exciting journey because of COVID. Most of the people have been affected and their timeline have stretched unexpectedly. The beauty of Canadian immigration program is that you don't need to have a foreign travel history. So I personally know a lot of people who have never boarded a plane, who have never gone outside of their country, and this is going to be their first journey. Okay, let's talk about the experienced traveler also. So for the people who have not traveled yet outside of their hometown, okay, there's an exciting journey. But what about the people who have been traveling? Yes, this is going to be another nerve-wracking or maybe exciting and the kind of journey which will put you anxious. Why? Because you would be leaving behind your friends, family, and a stable job or maybe a stable life. But you have to come to Canada and see you in Canada. So here is a time that you have to book a flight, but there are a lot of nervousness because maybe in your first time in your life you are going to book a one-way ticket. That means you'll go to Canada but not come back very soon because you are permanently moving along with your family. A lot of speculation and a lot of things, but I would like to share my extensive experience of traveling abroad and from to country, and uh, my landing experience in different airport, going through the immigration of various countries. So everything that you are going to see on the next slide are entirely based on my experiences, first and experience that we value always. Let's begin the journey. The primary idea is that how you can strike a good deal while booking a first flight. So my idea is that you can use Kayak, Expedia, or Kiwi to search flight option. For example, go to Google and write flight from New Delhi to Pearson, Toronto, or maybe flight from Islamabad to Pearson, something like that. So most of the it is likely that first few results would be from Kayak, Expedia, or Kiwi. Open all these websites in the different tabs. Look at this because there's a possibility that you don't know which airline would operate from your hometown or not. For example, if you're coming from Multan, there are not many international flight options. If you're coming from Peshawar, there are not many international flight options available. Same goes to different cities and around the world. So use Google search with the keyword flight from blah to blah. From this city to this city. Okay, so Google will return millions of results in 0.3 seconds. Open each tab or each result of Kayak, Expedia and Kiwi. That would give you an idea that which flights directly or indirectly fly from your hometown to your destination in Canada. It's quite possible that you might not be able to get a direct flight. For example, a lot of cities are in Pakistan are not well connected. You have to fly to Middle East, either to Doha, to Muscat, to Dubai, or maybe to Abu Dhabi, and sometimes to Istanbul to reach to the hub of those airlines, to hometown of those airlines, so that you can get a flight from over there all the way to your destination in Canada. This search will give you an idea that what airlines operate, and then using this result I would recommend to go to the official website because increasingly discount and other offers are being offered at the official website because the airlines themselves want to pass on the benefit of the third parties websites and travel agents on to the customer who would like to book the flight from their official website. There are a lot of credit card and banks which would have alliance with those airlines, and they would offer a good bargain. You may get discounted based on your credit card. You may be you can get discount based on the promo code that those banks would be heavily advertising. So always check the official website. You may get advantage and you will cut down the cost by uh, not paying the agent's commission. Use incognito mode because this what you all know about cookies. Despite I'm not a technical person, but I would certainly know that some of my data is being shared with the people that I would be from with the website that I would be visiting. So if you continue to visit website, that some of your data cookies or whatever you call it, and I'm not an IT expert, but some of the data would be stored on the website, and the website would know that a person is continuously checking this dates, this flights, and also further information that you would be unwillingly be sharing with those servers. So the right idea is to use incognito mode and keep deleting your browsing history whenever, for example, if you are sitting in the night and you want to check, okay, out of anxiety you have submitted your passport and you haven't heard back from the, from the embassy, but you are sure that in a few days you are going to get back your passport, and you have to plan ahead for start sitting in December, you have to book a flight in March so you can go and search the flight. If you continue to search same date, same flight, same sector, same number of people, there would be a message that there is a possibility that you would continue to see that fares are rising, because you are continuously sharing your data with the website. Then you are showing the eagerness that this, or maybe the website would understand that the this sector, this flight, this route has an immense demand, because every other minute somebody is approaching and checking this flight. Okay, all, again, on non-technical basis, I always suggest you to use incognito mode of your browser, whatever browser you are using. And Internet Explorer, it is called, it used to be called private browsing, and in Chrome we call incognito. So whatever mod your web browser offer, use that mode and keep clearing your browsing history so that your data is not stored and you do not fall into trap of paying rising prices. Because when price rise, every time you search it, you will become nervous, and without having any plan, you may book, pay the fee, and make the booking, which actually should not be the case if you use this option. Personally proven, tried and tested. Lock in good price at a small fee. A lot of airlines have started offering that if you're not sure, you can lock in. For example, the ticket, its price is 30,000 dirham if you're flying from Dubai, and for a family of 4 or 5 people. But if you pay 375 dirham, you can lock in this price, the same price, for 48 hours. That's a big bargain. Why? Because paying 300 something for a 30,000 dirham ticket and locking the great price, because what you would have to lose, because you would be putting only 300 dirham, because there's a small fee that airline would charge you for holding the price up to 48 hours. Turkish airline, for example, would offer you even an extended hours. You can hold same great price, because you are not sure whether we are going to travel or not, and you are not sure, if I check other lines, if I find better pricing, what I will do, because I will get stuck with this airline and later on I find a better pricing. So what you can do, that you pay a small fee and you can hold prices for up to, as far as I recall, up to 10 days, for example, with Turkish Airlines. Similarly, every other airline is offering lock-in price option if you're not sure, for 48 hours, 72 hours, and so on and so forth. So I always recommend, you are going on a big journey, it's a big ticket price, you don't know whether you would find a better bargain or not. So it's a good idea that you lock in great price now. Or maybe if you find a price few thousand dirham lower, that means you can get out of this deal by just paying 300 dirham, but you would be saving a lot by booking another airline or website. Luggage allowance, extremely important topic. All of this you would like to take all their clothes, utensil, books, and a lot of other treasure along with when they come to Canada. So it's a good idea that you check what every passenger in the family has the allowance for. For example, most of the time, in apart from infant, every other child who has its own seat, that means 2 plus, would have the same allowance as the adult would have. There's just for people under, for kids under 12, there may be a slight difference in the airfare, but most of the airline, most of the fare class would offer the same luggage allowance to kids under 12 year as the adults would have. For example, there are 5 people, 2 adult, husband, wife, 2 kids which who are 12 plus, and 1 kid who's under 12, under 2. That means 4 of these people would have same luggage allowance, in term of number of pieces, in term of weight per pieces, and other things. However, infant may have a different allowance. So check these things very crucially. And remember one thing, as a first timer, people would calculate, I have seen a lot of cases where people would calculate that, okay, so there are 23 kgs, 2 bags allowed. That means if one bag is 17 kg, I can adjust this 6 kg into another piece. No, 23 kg, 2 pieces of 23 kg means 23 kg. Okay, I strongly do not recommend that you haphazardly pack your stuff, reach to the counter on the day of your flight, and then you are told that one of the bag is under the limit, which is fine, but one of the bag is exceeding the limit. So you cannot make adjustment, take your stuff, clothes, and everything out and put it there, because that you may lose your stuff, you may lose your time, you may miss the flight. So never do that. Leave your home with great preparation, especially with respect to the luggage allowance. Be very sure, be very sure, be very sure, and check everything very thoroughly. That also means you need to also check that what kind of things that you cannot carry. People who do not travel extensively would maybe put something which is not allowed. For example, fruits, for example, vegetable, live plants, and anything that you are not allowed to bring into Canada. Anything that you are that is not allowed to be kept in the luggage. For example, the recent example is. MacBook Pro. A lot of airlines are not accepting MacBook Pro even in luggage, so check that for that. Liquids at a certain limits are not allowed. So there are things that you cannot even put in checked in luggage, and the restriction on the hand carry is different. And also remember, a lot of people would carry more than one laptop. Be very sure. For example, if your luggage is 23 kg, two pieces of 23 kg and a hand carry of 7 kg, that means laptop is included in that. It does not mean that you have another hand carry of 7 kg and laptop is additional. No, you can carry your umbrella or something, maybe for example raincoat, for example jacket. Yes, you can carry that without that is not counted towards your luggage, and you can hand it over to the staff. But other things are not allowed. For example, these laptops are counted as one. So if you have more than one laptop, try to pack them in a manner that you do not exceed the hand carry limit, which is usually 7 kg, and it is for per person. So plan your stuff very carefully so that you do not have to open up your luggage at the airport and stuff them back while everybody is waiting behind in the queue. Read the fine prints. These fine prints are for no show. No show means for any eventuality you are unable to reach to the airport and catch the flight, that is considered as low no show. That means you could not appear on the date of your flight for any reason and you miss the flight. Understand, read the fine print of your ticket, that how much compensation or reduction or maybe refund would you be entitled to. For example, Qatar Airways these days offer for any consideration of the other thing, they would give you the money back with 10% additional value to book another flight with them. Okay, no show is a different rule. You have to understand what does that mean. Another thing, you have to see, what if you have to change, if you have to change the dates, what if you have to cancel the flight and reschedule it, because there are a lot of possibility because of your personal reason. There can be reasons which are inevitable. For example, law and order situation in your city, and other maybe extreme weather, some illness, sudden emergency, medical emergency at home, or whatever, for whatever reason. If you want to cancel it or reschedule it, or you are unable to reach there, but what are the costs that you will have to pay? All of airlines would offer different fare classes which would look same, everything would be same, but they at a slight higher price would give you an advantage to make one change free of cost. For example, one adult ticket is 300 dirham more, but by paying 300 dirham more you would have a choice of making at least one change without any charges, and you will only have to pay the fare difference. So it varies from class to class. Extreme cheap tickets would come with certain restrictions. So if something is, if you find a ticket of 2500 for a family of five, and another the flight you can get it for 1800, so this 700 dollar difference maybe would always be, not maybe, would always be, because the 1700 dollar ticket would come as certain restriction. For example, completely not refundable. If you for any reason you are unable to take the flight, you would not get a penny back. So read the fine print with respect to no show, cancellation, rescheduling, or maybe you change your mind, maybe your circumstances change. So read this fine print very, very carefully, and if you have any doubt, please ask somebody to explain to that. What do you consider while choosing the route? A lot of people are coming with this problem that the agent, they did not book the flight to the website. The agent prepared the ticket and they reached to the airport. Okay, from their own city, they reached to the hub, for example, to Doha, to Dubai or Abu Dhabi. From there and onward, they would not allow to take the flight to Canada. Why? Because that flight was through US. If you do not have any kind of US visa to visit US, you cannot transit through USA to Canada. So a lot of cheap ticket would come at a price. For example, if you have to reach Vancouver, there may be a flight through Seattle. So in yes, flight is cheap, but since you do not have any visa, you are not still a PR. You are not a Canadian citizen. So you cannot transit through a US airport without having a visa. That means you will be sent back on your from the airport, that you cannot take that flight. Sometimes your travel agent knows this, sometimes even they are not aware that this is a restriction. So do not take any cheaper flight visit which is transiting through USA. Okay, if for example, if you luckily have B1 B2, okay, go for it, nobody minds that. Code sharing arrangement, there are a lot of regional airlines, especially in South Asia, which have a code sharing arrangement like the Qatar Airways. That means there may be a flight which would be operated on if you're taking one way flight, there may be three flight while you reach to your final destination, Ontario. From Islamabad, there would be a flight, for example, from Islamabad to Doha, it's Qatar operated by Qatar Airways. From Doha to Montreal, it is operated by Qatar Airways. From Montreal to Toronto, it's operated by Air Canada. What does that mean? Understanding this is very important because I would subsequently be also touching this topic upon your immigration. Your immigration in this way, if another carrier is taking you entering you to a flight is taking you to first port of entry, that means your immigration will happen over there. I will discuss this in further detail. So sometimes this code sharing arrangement may be useful and sometimes may not. I recommend a lot of people that if you are using, for example, Qatar Airways and there is a code sharing arrangement, if you are using Emirates and there is a code sharing arrangement with a Canadian airline, Air Canada. So what you would have to do, I would always suggest to choose, if you have another stopover after entering into Canada and you have to take a domestic flight, so it would be a nice idea that you book a flight with Qatar, which is from Doha onwards is operated by Air Canada. What is the advantage? Air Canada would help you enter the Canadian border. Your immigration is done. You will not have to collect the luggage because you will collect your luggage towards the end of your journey, i.e., in Toronto. Keep in mind layovers are very important because you have to go through the security checks and everything, and that means you should have enough time. If you have a stopover before entering Canada, that means your layover at the transiting airport should be enough, allowing you the time that you prepare. You get off the plane, you collect luggage or not depending on your route, and go through the immigration security and immigration again and get the another flight. A lot of since COVID happened, a lot of airline would require the passenger to report much earlier at the boarding gate, otherwise you would close the door and you would miss the connecting flight. Missing connection means that you will be sent back all the way. You may be sent back all the way to your hometown and you may lose the flight and onward. If you are at fault, and it can be very pricey, where if the fault is on you, for example, for whatever reason you missed the flight. If the flight from your origin to the transiting airport is late itself, that is not your responsibility. That means the airline will put you and the delay is so much that you miss the airline the next flight from Doha or Abu Dhabi or Muscat onward, and that would be considered as the fault of the airline. For example, the flight from Islamabad to Abu Dhabi is late. That is not your fault. And because of this delay, you missed your onward flight to Canada. That means it is airline responsibility that they would make an arrangement and they would put you on a flight that would take you to your ultimate destination. First port of entry, let me touch that about topic up once again. This is very important thing. A lot of people I have found been advising incorrectly. Wherever you enter, for example, if you are a promotion nominee, or for example, your ultimate destination is Vancouver, but you have to first land in Montreal, but your final destination is Vancouver. Wherever port which you use to enter Canada to put your foot on the Canadian soil, your immigration will happen here. Whether or not you will collect the luggage is a separate topic which is defined by who operates different flights in your entire journey. There may be two flights, there may be three flights. So depending the carrier that you are using, that would decide whether you would collect luggage at your first Canadian airport and put you on another next flight, or that is determined by the route. But this is 100% sure surety that whenever, for whatever airport port of entry you will enter the Canadian soil, your immigration will happen over there, and you will go through the same process. That is why, if you link this point with the previous point, layover is very very important. If there is a 2 hour gap the moment you enter Montreal, and the next flight is only after 2 hours, so it's very little thin window, slim window. Why? Because you might not be able to go through the immigration formality because you are landing for this first time. Usually the experience is smooth, but nobody knows whether, for whatever reason, for a missing document, for other formalities, if you are asked to stay for a while, you may miss your onward connection, which is a domestic flight from Montreal to Vancouver and onward, or maybe Calgary, wherever you are going. Onward domestic flight to your destination is basically because this is a domestic flight, so you don't have to go through the immigration again. You land in Montreal, and there your flight is onward to domestic flight to Vancouver. So in order to get to the domestic flight boarding gate, you have to cross the immigration counter for sure. But over there, since it's a domestic flight, everybody else is not supposed to reach there without going to the after going through the immigration counter. That means there's no immigration from that points onward. Keep that in your mind, and your plan domestic flight accordingly. What if you are PNP applicant? If you are a PNP applicant, you can land and complete your formality in another city. For example, ultimately you have to go to Saskatoon or Regina. You may not have a direct flight or indirect flight directly to that airport, and you have to book a separate domestic flight. That means if you are landing in at Pearson Airport, Toronto, your landing formality would be completed over there, and you can catch your next flight, which is a domestic flight within Canada, irrespective if you are a federal skill working direct ITA applicant, or you are a PNP applicant. Leaving the airport, this is a very interesting thing that you have to consider. If you are arriving late and you have a plan that I have booked the airport, the rent a car at the airport. A lot of Canadian airport maybe do not offer round the clock car rental services. That means you have to be very sure, if you are landing in Canada in wee hours of night, there is a possibility that rent a car counter would be closed. There is a possibility that the rental car company may erroneously, mistakenly takes your booking. But if you would leave the airport, you would now find the counter open. For example, after in late night, you would not find them, and those car rental counter would be open early hour next day. So you will have to wait at the airport, depending on what weather condition you arrive. It may be a lot of inconvenient, especially if you are traveling with young kids. Renting a car is the same topic that I have covered, that you can make the prior arrangement, but be very sure that when you reach there, you would find somebody, and somebody would be able to hand you over the car key, so that you can reach to your first accommodation. Renting a car in a new city is not a good idea, honestly speaking. If you can have somebody who can drive you through, that would be a nice idea, because from airport to your first accommodation, you would be needing Google Map, and there's a possibility that your uh, cell phone even on roaming does not work. That happens a lot of times, so be prepared for the contingencies. That's why it's a good idea either to book a airport cab, limo, or have a friend take you from airport to your first accommodation. So this entire process has to be very smooth and well planned, because you may, the moment you step outside of airport, you will lose the free wi-fi available at most Canadian airport. Booking a taxi and limo is a nice idea. I support that. If you go to the website of the airport where you would be landing, you would find link to lots of online limo and taxi. They may be a little pricier, but the little higher pricing comes at a lot of convenience if you are accompanied by a family. So don't look at money, don't look at the extra price that you have to pay, but be very sure, because these are professional drivers and professional car companies. The services would exceed your expectation, and you can easily reach your destination even in the late hours of the night. The best part is they would ask the number of passenger and number of pieces of luggage that you are bringing, and they would arrange the car accordingly. So you would not have to stuff your kids into the car to reach to a destination, because they are professional things. So they companies, though, they work seamlessly and they have very good customer ratings. I would suggest, for example, if you're coming out of Vancouver airport, so maybe Calgary airport, go to the Google Map and click on three dot and download a certain area. Go to setting and go to the download map, and at least download an offline map from airport to your final destination. So in case your phone is not working in roaming, you are unable to get SIM upon reaching the airport, because a lot of airport shops at the airport are not 24/7. So at least you will have some idea where you are going, and also save the final destination as your in your map as some location as your favorite, or maybe your list to visit, so that even a download map, this map would work, because in offline map you cannot search new things, you cannot have live traffic data. So it is always a good idea to mark the area where you would be initially traveling from the airport to your hotel or your friend's place, your relative place, where you can see what is happening, and you have at least an idea, especially even if you are accompanied by a professional limo driver, so that you would know that how long it is going to take you to reach to the destination. If a friend is coming and you are on touch constantly over the phone or a WhatsApp or something, so the friend will tell you that get out of leave the airport from gate A, floor 2. It's a better idea. Do not step outside of the terminal, outside the airport building, because airport Wi-Fi's have been designed in a manner. The moment you step out, you lose the connectivity from 100 to 0, no strength. Okay, so and a lot of airports are designed in a way that nobody, if somebody is coming to pick you up, they cannot park the car even for a few minutes. And some airports have been designed in a manner that if somebody is coming to pick you up, they are not, private cars are not allowed to go to the pickup area. The friend or relative who is coming will have to park car somewhere and walk all the way. So it is very important that you do not lose connection with the friend who is coming to pick you up, because he is making a sacrifice, leaving everything aside and coming to pick you up and welcome you to Canada. So these are the most important, and based on my personal experience of traveling around the world, consider this point when you are traveling, that to avoid yourself from hassle, because there's a first time letter, you have lot of other things, goods to follow, and a proof of COPR, whether signed or not, applying for SIN, new SIM, new country, new job, new workplace, new place, new to live. So everything is new. Try to reduce the kind of inconvenience you may face. Plan well and follow this video to have a pleasant landing in Canada, so that I can say see you in Canada. Thank you very much.